What is up, guys? Welcome to my trailer breakdown for The Flash, Season 4, Episode 23, which is also the season finale of Season 4, also titled, and this may get people a little bit angry, We Are The Flash, and I definitely understand why it would get people angry. It was like the worst part of The Flash this season when Iris was saying We Are The Flash to a lot of people. Those scenes bothered me a little bit, but not that much. So this title, again, also bothers me a little bit, but not that much. Hopefully it ties into the Flash. Into the episode. Maybe like a lot of people will become the Flash. Maybe a lot of people will get speed to defeat the Thinker in this episode. I'm not sure. But before we watch the trailer and break it down, make sure to follow me on Twitter. Link is in the description for better updates on my videos, as well as daily polls on the Arrowverse. With that in mind, let's watch the trailer.
It's going nuts out there.
Nothing's working, not even cell phones.
It's happening, isn't it?
Gotta be another way.
Get my consciousness inside the boat.
Barry?
What do you see? What's around you?
You're in my mind now. And there's no escape.
Barry! He's coming for us.
Run, Mr. Allen. Run.
The Flash, season finale Tuesday at 8/7 Central on the CW.
So, at the end of the last episode, first things first, at the end of the last episode, we saw DeVoe turn on the Enlightenment, or start the Enlightenment for Central City, probably the entire world, actually, because it went around the world, which I don't think will affect the other shows, just because this episode will come out after all the other season finales on Earth 1, so it wouldn't really affect the other shows, and it will affect them, like, on their break, but I don't think they're going to address that, just because they usually don't. Like, Arrow never addresses the Flash's big season finale cliffhangers, except for Flashpoint, because, like, it's in Central City, but this one seems to affect the entire world, so I don't know how that'll affect Arrow in the next season, but I don't think it will. I just think it will be resolved in this episode. But this Enlightenment thing, I said that it probably will not affect anybody. I think I said that in my review just because Harry took a while to go stupid. Like, he became stupider right away. Like, he forgot stuff, but it took for like 4 or 5 episodes, I think, for him to become fully stupid and not know what he's doing ever. So I'm not sure the Enlightenment will affect anybody in this episode for a while, and the reason I think it won't affect Barry ever or any speedster who will appear in this episode, because I definitely think other speedsters, it's not that I definitely think, I'm sure that other speedsters, such as the Mystery Girl, who is probably Dawn Allen, will appear in this episode. They should not be affected because of their connection to the Speed Force, because that's just a convenient way to get them out of any situation. Just say they have a connection to the Speed Force, which is not something I dislike at all. I actually like that convenient way to get them out of things, but the Enlightenment itself will, even though the way Harry went stupid, like, it took him a while, I think the Enlightenment is just a whole nother level and different circumstances that I think it'll affect people differently, so it'll affect them faster. So, like, near the end of the episode, people will become really, really stupid. But even before that, even before people became stupid, you see everything, all the technology in the world is shut down, and it's just gone, which will, like, even for a little while, even if it's for just a couple hours, that would create such chaos in the world that it would have to affect other TV shows like Arrow. But again, it will probably be resolved. Just like, it wouldn't really be resolved in real world like that. I don't think it could. But on a show like The Flash, it'll just probably be resolved by the end of the episode, and also lead to other troubles. Like, every season, you had the Singularity in Season 1 lead to Earth 2 villains coming to Earth 1, and Barry saving his mother in Season 2 led to Flashpoint Husks and Savitar, and then in Season 3, when he went to the Speed Force, led to all the bus metas you see in this season. So this whole, like, saving the Enlightenment, stopping the Enlightenment thing will definitely lead to the villains of the week in the next season, or like maybe even the main villain, which has been speculated about. But yeah, this Enlightenment thing will probably be resolved in this episode, but also it will lead to other troubles. But the way it's resolved is shown in this trailer. It probably will be, like, the way it's shown in this trailer will probably be how they resolve it, unless if this thing doesn't go their way and they have to come up with something else, which does happen a lot. But what they're doing here is they're going into DeVoe's mind. So, just going off of what the Team Flash knows by themselves, I don't understand how they would be able to think of this, and not only that, I don't know how they would be able to execute this, but that's not what they're doing here. What they're doing is, like, they're getting the idea from Marlize. It's been confirmed in a behind-the-scenes video from The Flash from this episode that the idea to go into Marlise's mind, I mean not Marlise, to DeVoe's mind, and the way they're going about it was an idea given by Marlise, which is in my opinion, is a cool ending to her redemption arc in this season. I thought the whole redemption arc was done really well, and the ending to that is for her to be the downfall of DeVoe, because she knows everything about DeVoe. She knows, she has like an insight into what's going on, so she knows how to get in there into his mind, and why to get into his mind. Like, that's the way to beat him, apparently. So I like the idea that this idea is coming from Marlise. So another thing about this whole mindscape thing is that Ralph will almost definitely actually be in DeVoe's mind, because DeVoe is in his body. I don't know how they would explain that, but DeVoe is in Ralph's body at the moment, so there's no reason Ralph would be alive. Every other bus meta is dead because they have no minds left in their bodies, so their bodies are dead. Bodies can't function without a brain and a mind to push them. But Ralph, his body is still alive because DeVoe is in there, still using it. So until he gets out of it, it's dead. Until he gets out of it, and there's no mind left. But if he gets out of it, in my opinion, I think Ralph's mind will still be in there. There were leaked images from the episode that show Ralph in the elongated man suit, so you know it's probably not DeVoe taunting Barry or something, with the Flash, and it seems like they're teaming up against the Thinker. You see the images of the Thinker in his seat, which you also see in the trailer. You see in the trailer and the promotional photos, those shots of him in his seat, which we haven't seen in a while, will probably be in his mind and not outside of it, because outside of it he can walk. Inside of it he probably sees himself as this paralyzed guy, because that's what he used to be. But that's what's gonna happen, in my opinion. They're gonna fight. Barry's gonna go in his mind, find Ralph in there, because those two are in the same body, they're sharing a body, and fight the Thinker for a while. And after this epic battle with the Thinker, you have Ralph push out DeVoe from his body, and then Team Flash destroys it or kills it, however you destroy a mind, or contains it somewhere so that it never gets out. I think it's an interesting idea for DeVoe to be Sans body, just be a mind roaming around somewhere or just trapped somewhere. I think that would be a cool idea, and it would become a little unrealistic, but I think it would be a cool idea. I mean, DeVoe's already a really unrealistic villain just because of all the powers. He's basically a god. But I think it will be a really cool ending to this arc of DeVoe taking over all these bus metas, and then taking over Ralph's body, which is the final body he wanted, and then for Ralph to come back and push DeVoe out of his body and retake his body, and then for Team Flash to destroy DeVoe's mind once it's outside of Ralph's body. I think that would be a great way to end the season, and it will bring Ralph back, which would be great, because he honestly is the best part, or the best addition in Season 4 to the Arrowverse, or this entire show, and not the show, the entire Arrowverse this season. The best addition was, one, the Legion of Superheroes, but also the Elongated Man. I think he was a great superhero, and he needs to come back from, I don't think he's dead, but technically, or not technically, but I hope he comes back from the quote-unquote dead in this episode, which I definitely think will happen, because we know for a fact he's in this episode, and I don't think they would put him in this episode without bringing him back, and that would be awesome. Also, like I said in a previous video, I'd win a $20 bet. Another thing that might show Ralph actually coming back to life in this episode is an Instagram post from Hartley Sawyer, the actor who plays Ralph Dibny, and this is the picture. You see him, Marlise, and DeVoe, and I think this might be from a previous episode, just because I'm pretty sure the background shows DeVoe's other dimension layer, I think, but this also might be in DeVoe's mind. I'm not really sure, but I think it's probably from a different episode. But the caption really gives away what might happen in this episode regarding Ralph. It says, if you can't beat him, become one of them, and he did become one of them for a little bit, but then it says, for the record, I beat him, which might be a hint to this episode with him actually beating DeVoe. If it is, then he might have spoiled the episode, but then again, the leaked images spoiled the episode, and the kind of predictability of the show spoiled the episode, and I'm glad it is predictable, because if he doesn't come back to life, which is what I predict, then I'll be pretty annoyed. But this definitely shows a possibility. This definitely might spoil the episode, which is that, for the record, I beat him, which is what Hartley Sawyer said, and so far he hasn't beaten him. But this episode, the season finale, might show that scene, or that story of him beating DeVoe and kicking him out of his body, which would be an awesome thing to see, in my opinion. So in the trailer, we see the shot of DeVoe walking past Cecile, and I know this isn't in his mind because we see promotional photos of Cecile wearing this thing, and Cecile is in the episode a lot according to the promotional photos because she's gonna give birth in this episode, probably because the mystery girl said that the date she's gonna give birth is the same date as the season finale is gonna be released. But this shot right here, I don't know how this is gonna go down. I definitely don't think the Thinker will kill Cecile just because, I mean, he might, like, after Cecile gives birth, but I don't think the writers have the balls to kill off an unborn baby, especially one like that's just about to be born in the Flash. Like, I don't think they're gonna do that, and they shouldn't do that. That would be way too gruesome. They just should not do that. So I definitely don't think the Thinker will kill her in this scene. I honestly don't know how this scene will go down. He's probably just gonna intimidate her and like attempt to kill her, but then be stopped by somebody on Team Flash, like Vibe or even Marlize, who isn't on Team Flash, but probably will be there to stop her. But I definitely don't think that he will kill her. I don't think the Flash has, or the writers or the showrunner has the balls to do that, and they shouldn't. So I said that Cecile has this thing on her head, on her forehead, and then actually I forgot it's the cerebral inhibitor, which might have a big role to play in this episode, just because all the way back in like episode 20, I think, of season 3, Savitar said that, and he's from the future, from past season 4, so he said that they used the cerebral inhibitor to defeat DeVoe. I think he said something like that, and we saw them use it against him before, but it didn't work. But I think that in this episode, they might use it a little bit more. Like you see it on Cecile's forehead. They might be using Cecile's mind powers to amplify the cerebral inhibitor to defeat DeVoe. And that's really all I have to say about that. I forgot to talk about the cerebral inhibitor, which probably will have a big role to play in this episode. So one thing that we know from this episode is that the Mystery Girl will actually have a big role to play. We see in the synopsis that I won't read in this video, but it says that Team Flash gets help from an unexpected ally, which might show that this plan to go into his mind, into DeVoe's mind, might not work because they have to improvise and work with the Mystery Girl, but I'm not sure about that. I think it will succeed, but DeVoe will have like a backup plan, and with the help of like Barry, like the Flash, Elongated Man, Vibe, Killer Frost, which I think who I think will come back in this episode, as well as the Mystery Girl will just fight DeVoe, and maybe Marlize will be there and probably die. That's how I think the episode will end, and that will lead to the two cliffhangers. It seems there are two cliffhangers, one probably surrounding Dawn Allen, and the other surrounding either the main villain for the next episode or the villains of the week for the next season. I mean, not episode, season. I guess I'll say episode because the next episode is the next season after this one. But this episode will have a lot to do with the Mystery Girl, whoever she is. We'll see her costume if she has one in this episode. We'll see her fight alongside Team Flash in this episode, and we'll see her backstory probably, like, not in flashbacks, but explained a little bit and ending with a cliffhanger. But the big thing is that she won't be a Mystery Girl anymore after this episode because her identity will be revealed. Now, I don't have a bet on this one like I have on Ralph coming back to life, but I would bet that she is Dawn Allen just because there is no other option in my opinion. Like, we know she's connected to Iris and Barry. She has deliberately avoided both of those people. Just, I don't know why, but she does. We know she's from the future. We know that she knows exactly when Cecile will give birth, but I don't think she's Cecile and Joe's daughter just because she's not the right color at all. So that wouldn't make sense genetically, but I think it would make sense genetically and everything we've been shown for her to be Iris and Barry's daughter, just because the actress, even though she doesn't look like it, she is biracial, so that would make sense for Barry and Iris to have a kid and for her to be a biracial like this Mystery Girl. So she is almost definitely the daughter of Barry and Iris, meaning she is, if they're following the comics, she is Dawn Allen, who is the daughter of Iris and Barry, and they also have a son named Don Allen, which might get a little confusing for them. That's stupid, Don and Dawn. But we don't see Dawn at all in this episode. We only see Dawn. But or in the season at all. I definitely think this Mystery Girl is Dawn Allen. Maybe I'll be proved wrong, and maybe they'll go with an unexpected thing, like maybe she's a gender bent Bart Allen, which would suck, or maybe she's the descendant of Barry and Iris from the 31st century. I don't know, but if I had to bet on it, I'd go with Dawn Allen. So, in the comments down below, let me know if you, think Ralph will come back to life. Let me know who you think the Mystery Girl is. Let me know if you're excited for this episode and how you think this episode will go down in the comments down below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And thanks for watching.